Hello, fans of all ages, and a very happy opening day to you all. This is indeed the Ryan Morik Show, coming to you live from Studio A here at Ramapo College of New Jersey in Mahwah, New Jersey. This is indeed Ryan Morik here on April 6th, Monday night at 6 o'clock. Just got back from opening day, literally about 15 minutes ago. Rushed big time to get here, but I made it. The show must go on. And again, just want to wish you all a very happy new year. This is my Christmas. This is the day that I've been waiting for since the day Pablo Sandoval caught that last out in the World Series. And waking up this morning was the best feeling ever. And I was so excited to finally watch baseball. This day, it's unbelievable. The sights and sounds of a baseball game are like none other. You got the smell of the hot dogs, you got the fries, you got everything going on in the ballpark. And this day, this is one of the most important days to every team, every owner, every GM, every baseball fan. The start of the season's one of the most important days ever. Honestly, opening day is more than just the beginning of a season. It's a symbol of rebirth. It's the return of America's pastime. You can feel the electricity in the air. It's a day of celebration. For generations, opening day has been looked forward to by baseball fans every offseason. This day is practically an American tradition, to say the least. I think that's why Ozzie Smith tried to make it a national holiday last year. And he went around the country. He got 100,000 signatures, which brought it to the White House. That's the law. And the petition was denied last year, about 3 days before opening day. And call me crazy, but I have thought about I've thought about the fact that opening day should be a national holiday. Seriously. This day is celebrated across the country by millions of people. And honestly, when you look at other national holidays, are they even properly celebrated? But we'll get to that soon. What happened? But yeah, opening day celebrated by millions of people everywhere. It's already an unofficial holiday. I mean, this day, it has its own title. Besides Super Bowl Sunday and All-Star Weekend and All-Star whatever, this is the only sports day with a legitimate title. According to the MLB, 22 million people play hooky a year because of opening day. Honestly, I was almost one of the 22 million people. I didn't have class today, and I was this close to skipping the show, but I made it on time. My lovely girlfriend actually played hooky to go to the Yankee game today. She's sitting right in front of me. How's life? How you doing? This is odd for you, I know. I know. Thanks for coming by. She was one of the 22 million people to play hooky today, and honestly, that number probably goes up every year. She made me say all that good stuff about it, by the way. But in all seriousness, 22 million people a year, that's more than I can't even name something that special where people skip class or school or work or anything like that. And honestly, when you think about it, I'm going back to other national holidays. Seriously. There are 11 federal holidays in the calendar year, and some of them aren't even celebrated correctly. Every February, we have President's Day. What do we do on President's Day? Seriously. Think about that for a second. For those of you in high school and those of you in work, in college, I don't get off on President's Day. But a lot of people get off President's Day, and what do you do that day? Sleep. That's probably about it. Do some makeup work. President's Day, we're supposed to celebrate our nation's history, our forefathers. But we don't do anything remotely close to that, do we? Memorial Day, the last Monday of May, every single year. This day, we're supposed to mourn the lives lost in battle for us. What do? Wrap up our vacations, make barbecues, make hot dogs, and just think about how we have off from school again. It's rare that people realize what that day means. Labor Day is a national holiday. What do we do there? We go on vacation again. Columbus Day, what do we do on that day? You sit there and you probably don't mention Christopher Columbus once throughout the entire day, unless if you're telling someone why you have off from school. Am I right or am I right? Americans and even the guys up north, they legitimately celebrate opening day every single year. Baseball's the greatest sport in the world, in my opinion. The greatest moments come from this sport. Baseball is celebrated 162 times a year plus. And honestly, now would be a really good time to make it official. Seriously, I know that sounds insane. You're taking off for a baseball game. But I read you the stats, and I gave you my opinion about how four major holidays are not at all celebrated. You have Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter. We celebrate those. But the four holidays that represent our country, we don't celebrate. And no one's skipping class or school that day. People skip class. I went to opening day 2008. I skipped school 2 days in a row because it got rained out. I literally skipped school 2 days in a row because it got rained out. So I played hooky twice. Think of all the people who went to that Yankee game. Now, some of you might think to yourself, what if your team is not playing a home game? Like, for example, let's say, who did the Yankees play today? Toronto. All those guys in Toronto. Should it be a national holiday for them because they were on the road? Yes. You know why? Because people play hooky not to go to games. They play hooky to watch the game also. Last year on opening day, the Yankees didn't play on opening day, which is weird to me. They played the next day. I was in my chem class, and I brought my computer, and I pulled up every single game. Literally every single game on my computer. I was watching 6 games at once in the middle of class. My parents are probably listening to me like, what is this kid doing? But sorry, guys. I was watching opening day, and I'm going to do it every single year. Now, people hear my opinion on this, and they say, do you think the day after the Super Bowl should be a national holiday? And my answer, absolutely not. Oh, but on Super Bowl Sunday, we stay up late and we drink beers all night long, blah, 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 blah. It's your fault that you're going to work or school or whatever hungover the next day. Sorry. You're taking the risk by pounding down beers, beer after beer after beer. You know you have to go to work the next day. What are we going to call that day anyway? The day after the Super Bowl day? The best thing the NFL should do is, I don't want them to do this, but they want the Monday after the Super Bowl off. That's why they want to expand the playoffs. So the Super Bowl can be the same weekend as President's Day, which we don't even celebrate. Maybe now we'll have a reason to celebrate President's Day. But people are going to take off that day not because it's President's Day, but because it's the day after the Super Bowl. People will probably forget that it's President's Day. It's going to be day after Super Bowl day. Might as well change the title of that, honestly. Again, I know it sounds crazy to even consider having off from school and work and all that on opening day. But honestly, Honestly, it's not that bad of an idea. So, again, I just got back from the Yankee game, and it was brutal. Toronto Blue Jays beat them 6-1. And it was flat out terrible game for the Yankees. Tanaka started off really strong, really strong. He struck out 2 in the first inning. He retired 6 of his first 7 batters. And then the third inning, he fell apart. I don't know what happened. I was sitting in section 202, and if you know Yankee Stadium like I do, it's right behind the Yankee bullpen. So I watched Tanaka warm up, and he was throwing gas. He looked very good on the mound in the bullpen, and he looked really good in his first 2 innings. And then I don't know what happened. There was that sac bunt by Jose Reyes that Chase Headley threw to Guam, and then a couple of hits, and then Encarnacion had that bomb to make it 5-0. But the thing that really bothered me was Didi Gregorius in the bottom of the 8th inning. 6-1, bottom of the 8th inning, 2 outs. You're down 5 runs. You have Mark Teixeira up at the plate. And you steal third base. And he gets thrown out. Where's my, hold on, where is it? Where is it? Didi Gregorius. Here you go, buddy. Oh, man. That's classic. That's actually classic. But seriously, what in the world was Didi Gregorius thinking? I learned this in Little League. You never make the last out at third base. Never make the first out at third. Never make the last out at third. Ever. Especially when you're down 6-1 and when Mark Teixeira is up at bat. Mark Teixeira was 1 swing away from making it a 6-4 game. Do I think that would have happened? No. But now we'll never know because Didi Gregorius thought it would be a good idea to steal third. Didi Gregorius is one of the fastest players on the Yankee roster. A single in the outfield, Didi Gregorius would have scored anyway from second. So why is he stealing third? No one even gave him a sign. It was on his own. He said it was on his own. That was one of the dumbest plays I've seen in a really long time. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. You're down 5. And with 2 outs, you're going to score anyway. Mark Teixeira is up at bat. This guy can send one to the upper deck. And because the shift was on, you thought you could steal third. Never assume you can steal a base. If you're going to steal third, you better make it by 15, 20 feet. Seriously. Even if he was safe, I saw him go. And I saw Russell Martin throw the ball down to third base to Josh Donaldson. And even before he was ruled out, I said to myself, what in the world is this guy doing? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. And then I didn't notice this, but I bumped into my uncle after the game, and he noticed that when he got thrown out at third, usually when you're one of the last guys on the field after the third out, the guys in the dugout will pick you up, return your helmet to the dugout, and get you your hat and glove. No one picked up Didi Gregorius. Honestly, this guy's young. This guy's new to a team. He probably wanted to make a little bit of a spark in his debut, but I think he learned very quickly. And I think what the Yankees did to him by not picking him up was a really good lesson. He said in his post-game interview, it'll never happen again. And you know what? It better not happen again. Because if it does, you will not be playing very much longer. You cannot make up your own decisions in a game like this. Especially a dumb one. Seriously. So I got to tip my cap to the Yankees by showing Didi Gregorius a lesson by not picking him up. Because honestly, he didn't deserve it, and I can't get over how bad of a play that was. Everyone in my entire section, I've never seen people so mad before. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Hey, how you doing? Are you recording me? Yeah, you are. You liar. In all seriousness, though, Didi Gregorius better get his head on straight. Because the Yankees we know they're in trouble this year. They already have a million questions, and we don't need base running and baseball IQ to be another one. Because they already have questions with Tanaka, who did not throw well today. There's questions with CeCe and Pineda and Teixeira and Beltran and the entire team, basically. Literally the entire team. No one on the team hit today. A-Rod went 1 for 2. I think McCann went 1 for 4. And who got the other hit for the Yankees? I don't know. They had 3 hits, and it was awful. It was awful. And now we have to worry about if we even have smart players on this team. Unbelievable. So opening day, the Angels played today against the Mariners. It was without Josh Hamilton, but Josh Hamilton's not suspended. Josh Hamilton's out with a shoulder injury. He's going to be back in May. And over the weekend, the MLB announced that Josh Hamilton will not be suspended. And I couldn't agree more with this decision. Josh Hamilton needs help. Suspension is not help. If he's suspended, that's just going to make him even more depressed. And honestly, a chance at a relapse it skyrockets. If he's suspended, he's going to be surrounded by the wrong people. He's going to be devastated at why he's suspended. But if he plays, he's going to be with the right people. He's going to be with his teammates that are going to continue to give him a very positive attitude. This guy's not like Josh Gordon or Randy Gregory or anything remotely close to it. This guy, it wasn't a one-time thing to make himself feel happy. This guy has a problem. He has an addiction. And I said it. Josh Hamilton was the first thing I talked about when this show went live. I said the first time I talked about it, I said he should not get suspended, and I still don't think he should be. Remember, you can be sober for years. Former addicts, they'll tell you they've been sober for 20 years, and they will always tell you, I'm recovering. You have to remember, Josh Hamilton will never be in full remission. He had alcohol relapses in 2009 and 2012. He's always going to be a recovering alcoholic. He's going to be a recovering cocaine addict, heroin, whatever he took. He's never going to be 100% cured. He's never going to be 100% sober. He's always going to be recovering. Now, what I did not understand at all was that Major League Baseball released a statement saying that they disagreed with the decision. You are Major League Baseball. Why don't you make the decision? First of all, Josh Hamilton admitted it to the MLB. That takes a lot of guts to do. To go up to essentially your boss, know that you might get suspended for a long time. That takes a lot of strength to do. That's very brave. But the MLB said it took, quote, the position that Hamilton violated his treatment program and is subject to discipline by the commissioner. If he is subject to discipline by the commissioner, why doesn't Rob Manfred suspend him if he disagrees? According to an ESPN.com article, a 4-person treatment board created by the baseball's joint drug program. It has a lawyer and it has a medical representative. They're each appointed by management and the Players Association. 4 people, they were deadlocked at 2-2 on whether Hamilton should be disciplined. First of all, shouldn't a board have more than 4 people? Especially when it comes to a multi-million, even billion-dollar business. But anyway, the 2-2 tie meant that an arbitrator needed to break the tie. First of all, I just realized this. Rob Manfred has no say in this? It's obvious that the commissioner did not have any right to do anything. He has power to make the rules, include replay, include clocks, and all this nonsense in the sport, make pace of play rules that aren't going to work. If they work, it's going to be a 10-minute time difference. Is there really a difference between 2 hours and 50 minutes and 3 hours? No. He has power over everything except the drug program? I don't know if that's something in the collective bargaining agreement or if that's something, I don't know what that is, but something about that is flawed. That does not make any sort of sense to me. You don't want him suspended. I don't want to see the MLB whine when they disagree with a decision that should be in their hands. You want him suspended so badly? Why don't you just do it? Rob Manfred, I have a lot of respect for this guy. But he should not be complaining that he disagrees with the call and he's the one that didn't even make it. He's the commissioner. He brought it to 4 people, which I think if you want a board, you need a lot more than that. And then an arbitrator decided that he can't get suspended, and then he complains about it. You are the commissioner of Major League Baseball. Why don't you just make the decision yourself? Now, I'm sure if I worked for Major League Baseball, especially in the upper management, I would understand this a lot more. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Something about that is flawed. You can't have people who run a business disagree with a call by an arbitrator. Even when A-Rod got suspended, I thought it was ridiculous that it went to an arbitrator. Now, that was because the MLB suspended him, and then he sued everyone involving the MLB, and that they needed an arbitrator. But this went to 4 people. One of them, from what I've read, one of those 4 people is not the commissioner. Did he say to himself, okay, you guys go handle this? If he did, then that's ridiculous. Again, Josh Hamilton should not be suspended. He needs help. He's going to need help for the rest of his life. But the MLB has no right to complain when they are essentially this guy's boss. So Alex Rodriguez played in his first live regular season baseball game today. First time since September 25th, 2013. Alex went 1 for 2 with a walk, a single to center field, and a fly out to Jose Bautista, which is a rope. And I got to tell you, I was very happy with his reception. I went to the game today. I rocked my Forgive shirt, where the I and the E is the number 13. And I was actually very, very surprised by the amount of cheers there were. I was hoping that everyone would cheer. If you've listened to the show, you know that I've been supporting Alex 100%. And he's on my team. He's on the Yankees. why am I going to boo someone that's going to try to help out my team? But I was very surprised with the amount of cheers that he got. I thought it was like 80-20, 75-25, and I was very happy. I think at first it's going to be like that, and the cheers and boos are going to come and go as he plays. If he plays well, then he's going to get cheered. If he doesn't play well, he's going to get booed. Simple. But when I got to the game, I showed up with a nice sign that I made up because I'm very creative, I know. It said, last year we gave respect with the 2 and the whole, you didn't remember that whole thing with Jeter. This year we must forgive with the 1-3, and I got to tell you, it was a pretty big hit in the bleachers today. But there was a guy behind me that saw the sign, and he said something along the lines of that he can't forgive him and that he's going to boo A-Rod. All of you know that I think if you boo someone on your own team, no matter how bad they are or whatever they did, I can't consider you a fan of that team. If you boo someone on your own team, I think that's absolutely ridiculous. What kind of fan are you if you cheer for someone that you like who's trying to beat your team, but boo someone on your own team for trying to win? For example, me, Mike Trout, favorite player right now because Derek Jeter's gone. But what kind of fan would that make me if I went to a Yankees and Angels game and I cheered for Mike Trout, who was trying to beat the Yankees, and then I booed Alex Rodriguez? I think that is absolutely ridiculous. But that's how New York fans are. If you're not performing, you're going to get booed. I think it's ridiculous. I will never boo anyone on any team that I cheer for. You can bat 100. You can throw 25 interceptions a game. You can let up 1,000,000 goals a game. It doesn't matter. Will I be upset with you that you're not performing? Sure. But will I boo you out of the stadium? Never. Never. But anyway, going back to this guy. He said that he was going to boo Alex when he came up. I didn't hear the boos because I was giving him a standing ovation. I was loud, and the cheers completely outweighed the boos today. So if he booed, I honestly don't even know. But the people that did boo Alex Rodriguez today, and the people who probably will all year, I have one question for you. If Alex Rodriguez hits a walk-off home run for the New York Yankees, whether it's today, tomorrow, Game 7 of the World Series, I don't care. If he hits a walk-off hit, if he gets a hit, if he does something well for the New York Yankees, are you going to boo him? Honestly, I doubt it. If you're going to boo Alex Rodriguez, I won't agree with what you're doing, but I'll completely understand it. I won't agree with it, but I'll understand it. And if you boo him, you better show that consistency. I don't want you booing Alex Rodriguez, and then he produces, does something well for the Yankees, and then you cheer for him. That shows that you're A, in the end, a Yankee fan, and essentially an A-Rod fan, and B, most importantly, it shows how much of a hypocrite you really are. Last year, or 2 years ago, I went to a Yankee game, and it was one of A-Rod's first games since coming back from when his suspension was first announced and after one of the surgeries. And there was one guy who sat a couple seats next to me. Every time A-Rod's name was announced, this guy booed him to death. And later on in the game, he hit a double. And this guy he hit an RBI double, and this guy just sat in his chair. He didn't boo. He didn't cheer. I think deep down he wanted to cheer for this guy, and I understand why he couldn't. Because this guy, honestly, Alex Rodriguez, there's no denying that he's a disgrace to the game. Seriously, there's literally no denying it. This guy sued the Players Association, he sued the Yankees, he sued the doctors because he was lying. It takes a really special person to do that, and I say special very loosely. But again, at the end of the day, he's wearing pinstripes. He has the NY on his cap. When he goes on the road, he's wearing New York across his chest. If you're going to boo someone on your own team, I think that's ridiculous. And if you're going to, you better show consistency. Because I can't stand the people who boo A-Rod, and then if the Yankees win, they cheer for him. Don't do that. This guy is wearing the leather of your favorite team. You better respect that. And if you can't respect that, but then you cheer for people who are trying to beat the Yankees, you really need to get something checked out. Seriously. I think before spring training, a couple months before spring training, honestly, I expected A-Rod to get about 70% boos, 30% cheers. And that's how it was originally. When he had the 162 game suspension the first time, the 211 game suspension. The game that I went to where he hit the double, everyone was booing him. It was like 70-30 boos. But you know what? He got the RBI double and then everyone started cheering. That's pathetic. That's actually pathetic. If you show consistency in booing him, then I'll respect you a little bit more. But honestly, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, Game 7 of the World Series. A-Rod's up. You get a hit, you win the World Series. You get an out, you lose the World Series. You're rooting for Alex Rodriguez to get an out? I don't think so. World Series championships do not come very often. Even in a regular season game. Bottom 9, 2 outs, a May game that means almost nothing. Would you rather the Yankees lose that game or the Yankees win that game? If you would really rather watch Alex Rodriguez get an out, which leads to a Yankee loss, I cannot consider you a Yankee fan. Seriously. You don't have to like the guy. I don't like him. I don't like what he did to my favorite team. I think what he did was pathetic. My voice is cracked. I've been screaming all day. But in reality, what he did was pathetic. Seriously. There's no denying it. I don't care how much you love this guy. But if he's on your team, you have to cheer for him. I've said this numerous times. I sound like a broken record. Nelson Cruz got suspended for steroids. Ryan Braun got suspended for steroids. Francisco Cervelli, former Yankee, got suspended for steroids. A guy on the Yankees farm system just got suspended. Irvin Santana just got busted for 80 games. If all those guys go into Yankee Stadium, I guarantee you they will not get booed at all. Nelson Cruz visited Yankee Stadium, 10 times last year? And I saw him play twice at Yankee Stadium last year. He didn't get booed at all. This guy got suspended for taking steroids. Not one Yankee fan booed him. But we're booing Alex Rodriguez? Something is not right about that. Something that doesn't match up very well. And by the way, if you don't like Alex Rodriguez, you better take a look at his highlight tape. Is it all on steroids? Probably. But I'm not talking about his home runs and his RBIs. I have never seen Alex Rodriguez hit that baseball field and give anything less than 100%. Seriously. This guy, did he cheat the game? Yes. But this guy loves the game with everything he has in him. I know that's hard to believe because he took steroids and tried to cheat the game. But he tried to cheat the game because he wanted to be the greatest player of all time. I know that's not an excuse. But this guy plays with 110% effort each and every time. This guy hits a long single, he wants it to be a double. This guy hits a gapper, he wants it to be a triple. This guy gives everything he can. If you read that ESPN magazine article, it came out a couple of days before spring training. A-Rod busted his rear end the entire offseason to get into somewhat midseason form after not playing for a year and a half. This guy would go to the fields every day. He sought out Barry Bonds, ironically, as a hitting coach. This guy would sweat and all that. The cliche, blood, sweat, tears, blah, blah, blah. He would hit the weight room all the time. He would hit the batting cages all the time. Why? Because he wants to give the Yankees a championship. Even though his entire legacy is tarnished, he wants to be known for giving it all. Why do you think we gave Derek Jeter a farewell tour last year? It was not because of his skill. It was because he played the game the right way and cleanly. Alex Rodriguez, he did not play the game cleanly. But you know what? Besides taking steroids, he played the game the right way. And you know what? He played the game the right way today, and he's going to continue to do that until he retires. And if you don't respect that, then I guess you really can't stand Alex Rodriguez. Here we go with some updates. First off, here at Ramapo College, the Roadrunners hosted the Roadrunner Invitational over the weekend. They finished in 9th place. Michael Began qualified for the ECACs with the second place finish in the discus. He threw 46.75 meters, which was 3 centimeters shy of the school record. He also finished third in shot put with a personal best 14.06 meters and 6th place in the hammer throw at 46.05. Zach Smith and Dominic Smith placed in 4th and 5th respectively in the javelin, throwing for 48.27 and 47.83 meters. Zach Brower ran the 10,000 meter in 35 minutes and 55.21 seconds, finishing in 4th. They will be back in action Saturday when they travel to Baltimore for the Hopkins Loyola Track and Field Invitational. After losing to Montclair Friday on a walk-off single, the baseball team was back in action on Saturday in a doubleheader. Game 1, Tom Portese earned his 5th win on the year as Ramapo defeated Stockton 13-6 in Game 1 on Saturday. Joe Venturino went 4 for 5 with a double and 3 RBIs. Chris Werr, 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Tommy, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. Walked 6 and hit 2 batters, but he struck out 5. The Roadrunners lost Game 2 as the Ospreys exploded for a 6-spot 6th inning. They are back in action tomorrow against the College of Staten Island. The softball team swept a doubleheader against New Jersey City University on Thursday. Game 1, they won 12-1 in 5 innings. Katrina Buskowski, a complete game, 3 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 1 strikeout. Danielle Saporito went 3 for 4 with 3 ribbies and 3 runs. Kim LaPenta went 2 for 4 with a double, 2 ribbies, and 3 runs. Game 2 also went 5 innings as the Roadrunners won 9-1. Christina Brizek, a complete game, 2 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. The men's volleyball team traveled to Springfield, Massachusetts this weekend for 3 games, 2 of them against ranked opponents. Friday, they lost to number 6 Springfield College in straight sets. Saturday was a little bit better. They beat Southern Vermont College 3-1. Justin Figelis had 16 kills. Moranis Tavernier had 12 kills. Alec Weissman had 47 assists. Kurt McDonald had 16 digs. Later on that day, they took on number 3 New Paltz. They lost 3-2. They lost the 5th set 15-8. Justin, 15 kills. Moranis, 12 kills. Alec Weissman, 44 assists. Kurt McDonald had 13 digs. They are back in action tomorrow when they take on NYU. The Skyline Conference Tournament is underway on Thursday. The Roadrunners clinched the 2 seed. They will play number 3, NJCU, here at the Bradley Center on Thursday. Women's lacrosse had a tough weekend this weekend. They lost to Fairleigh Dickinson on Friday 14-2, and then they lost to TCNJ 17-2. They are back in action Thursday against Western Connecticut. And the men's tennis team swept Rutgers Newark 9-0. They are back in action Wednesday against Hunter College here at Ramapo. Going pro, opening day today, the Yankees took on the Blue Jays. They lost 6-1. Masahiro Tanaka, 4 innings through 82 pitches, 5 strikeouts, 5 hits, 5 runs for them earned. The Mets are taking on the Washington Nationals. Don't have the score in front of me right now, but when I get it, I will give you the update. A-Rod played in his first game in over a year and a half for the New York Yankees. He went 1 for 2 with a single and a walk and a fly out to center field. And tonight, Duke, Wisconsin in the national championship. Kentucky, their pursuit of perfection over as they lost to Wisconsin Saturday night, 71-64. Couple questionable calls, which I'll get into very soon. But Wisconsin will be taking on Duke, who defeated Michigan State 81-61. Tip-off tonight at 9:18 Eastern Time. So speaking of the national championship, we had Kentucky, we had Wisconsin on Saturday night. And this was an incredible game. This game's 2 days old already. I still can't believe Kentucky lost. But simply put, they got outplayed. I still think the Wildcats are better. I would have loved to see a Kentucky-Duke final, but Wisconsin outplayed them. Frank Kaminsky played great on Karl Towns, which was huge. And Frank Kaminsky had a great day on offense also. But the refs were very questionable coming down the stretch. At one point, every call was going Kentucky's way. And then, in the blink of an eye, every call was going Wisconsin's way. I think the biggest call was the no call on the shot clock violation. That changed the rest of the game. And honestly, that rule is unbelievable. They can only review the shot clock inside of 2 minutes. You win games, you win championships in 23 seconds. That shot clock violation happened at 2 minutes, 23 seconds. You're going to tell me that the game is more or less important in 23 seconds? If anything, I guess it would be more important, sure. But this is the Final Four. 2 great teams going at it. And honestly, you couldn't review that. That was a huge momentum swing. Sure, Wisconsin won by 7, but you can't just subtract 2 points from 7 and assume Wisconsin would have won by 5. That play got Kentucky very angry. That ruined the rest of their game. And all because of a stupid rule. We have technology, we have replay. Don't you use replay to get it right? Why are there restrictions on replay? Seriously, and especially in a basketball game with time limits. College, you have 35 seconds to shoot the ball. They did not shoot the ball in 35 seconds, and you can't review that because it happened with 2:23 left on the clock instead of 2 minutes? That's unbelievable. And then they missed the flagrant one, and then they missed a couple charges and blocks, and the refs were all over the place. And then Decker's 3 with, what was it, like 2 minutes left or something like that? Decker's 3 put the icing on the cake. That kind of did it. But again, that call was very questionable. And now, something that I did not understand from Kentucky. They took 5 threes all game, and one of them was at the buzzer, which was practically meaningless, literally meaningless. Now, I get it. You have Karl Towns. You have Trey Lyles. You have Willie Cauley-Stein. Those are some of the best big men in the game. 2 All-American 7-footers. Karl Towns is 6'11". Trey Lyles is 6'10". I get it. You want to feed those guys. Those guys are animals. But 5 3-point attempts all game? Good things happen when you shoot the ball. Are you going to make every shot? No. Of course not. But 5, I could not fathom that. Some teams, they make 10 3-pointers, let alone shoot them. Kentucky would have won the game if, A, they out-rebounded Wisconsin. Wisconsin out-rebounded them 34-22. And to see that from Kentucky is rare. And if they took more threes, they would have went in. They have guys who can shoot. And now something that this happens whenever someone does something good in sports. Kentucky was 38-0. They were 2 wins away from being 40-0. They were 2 wins away from making history, 2 wins away from being the first undefeated team since Indiana in '76. And when Kentucky lost, I've never seen people so happy before. Why can't people appreciate the greatness they have right in front of their eyes? Perfection does not come easily. So appreciate the greatness when you have it. The perfect example of this is LeBron James. Now, some people just don't like him because he went to Miami, and then we know. But people, seriously, this guy, LeBron James, is the best player since Michael Jordan. He is my Michael Jordan. And people want to see him fail, and they rip on him any chance they get. It's almost obsessive. Like, LeBron can drop 100 points in a game, and someone will be like, oh, but his hairline, and it's something stupid. First of all, what does that have to do with anything? And B, LeBron James, this guy is awesome. And this isn't just for LeBron James. This is for anyone, any team, any player who is unbelievable. LeBron James is the best player of my generation. Why can't people just appreciate that? I hate Kentucky. I hate the system. I hate how all of them are one and done. But when history is about to be made, for me, it's very hard to cheer against that. Tom Brady, another example. I hate the guy. But honestly, when I saw him win his 4th ring, that was awesome. Because it's history. History is not made often. Perfection does not happen often. Why can't people just appreciate it? Now, speaking of Kentucky, John Calipari is going to the Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. John Calipari is nothing more than a great recruiter. I do not think he belongs in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He's going to the Hall of Fame because good players went to his school. I'm sorry, Calipari would be nothing if he coached in the NBA. He's a perfect fit in college because he's a father figure to these players. But NBA players, they don't want a dad. They want a coach who is a fighter and who pushes them to the limit to win the championship. Calipari is the guy who recruits the players, tells them to behave on and off the court. NBA coaches are a lot different, and Calipari is not an NBA coach. And if he were, depending on what team he would go to, he wouldn't succeed. Now, I get it. I think every single coach would love to do what Calipari does. Calipari has made history time and time again with the Kentucky Wildcats, and even before that. But he isn't like a guy like Tom Izzo, where he can bring a high seed to a championship. Now, I know Calipari did it last year, but honestly, were the Kentucky Wildcats an 8 seed last year? Absolutely not. They were much, much, much better than that. And I think UConn was much better than a 7 seed. I have a lot of respect for John Calipari. He is one of the most successful college coaches of all time. And what he's able to do with those college kids is incredible. Those guys play for Calipari because he's a father figure to all of them. Why do you think Carl Towns played for the Dominican Republic national team? Because Calipari was the coach. But honestly, Calipari would be a joke in the NBA. Going back to the Dominican national team, why do you think Calipari coaches that team? Because the best NBA players, they play for Team USA. If Calipari coached that team, no one would listen to him. Seriously. Now again, Calipari, what he does is, he brought a team to 38-0. But he does not belong in the Hall of Fame. I'm sorry. If he proved something at the NBA level, different story. But Hall of Fame, no. Tonight, 9:18 p.m. Eastern Time, which is ridiculous, Duke and Wisconsin will fight for the national championship. I'm going with Duke. They are the second best team in the nation behind Kentucky, in my opinion. Lots of things went right for Wisconsin against Kentucky, and I think that can only last for so long. Duke has natural raw talent with guys who have an incredible feel for big-time moments with these guys. So does Wisconsin. I mean, what Kaminsky did and what Decker did, all those guys, what they did against Kentucky was unbelievable. But again, I think that can only last for so long. What Jahlil Okafor and Tyus Jones and Quinn Cook do in big games is like none other I've seen in college. All their games against UNC, they went off. They have incredible clutch genes, and I think that is why Duke pulls it off tonight. But I think it's going to be one of the best college games of all time. These are two of the best teams in the nation. The stats show it, and honestly, just based on my opinion, they have incredible players. But I think Duke is going to pull it off. Just got the update. The Mets beat the Nationals 3-1. Max Scherzer made his Nationals debut. He took a no-hit bid with 2 outs into the 6th inning. He retired 17 straight batters after a game-opening walk to Curtis Granderson. And then he walked Granderson again. And then what happened? Some errors. They were down 1-0. Luke Duda roped an RBI single. That made it 2-1. Bartolo Colon, look at him, opening day starter. He obviously had a pretty good game. Don't have the stats in front of me, but the Mets have a better record than the New York Yankees. So Tiger Woods is playing the Masters. I would like to think that Tiger Woods would play if he thought he'd win, but he missed the Masters last year. He definitely doesn't want to miss it again. Recurring back issues gone after 2 months? I don't think so. going back to appreciating greatness. I've loved Tiger. I always have. I always will. He's the greatest golfer I've ever seen. He's the most clutch golfer I've ever seen. And I hope he wins. And you know what? He played a practice round today at Augusta, and he played really well. He had some nice drives. He had a couple birdies. He had some good chips, which was a huge concern of his in the beginning of the year. But you know what? This Masters, I don't think it's his to win. I'll tell you what, my eye is on Jordan Spieth. His last 9 events, he has 2 wins. He has 2 second-place finishes. He finished in 4th once. He has 2 7th-place finishes. He was this close to winning the Masters last year. This weekend, he had a little bit of a choke in Houston. He finished in 2nd place, but he took it to a playoff. He wants revenge after this weekend. He's 4th in the world for a reason. Jordan Spieth is my pick to win the Masters this week. And the other 2 guys I'm on the lookout for, Rory McIlroy, obviously, and I love Dustin Johnson right now. Rory is Rory. This guy, he's been a little bit off this year, but he hasn't played since the Palmer tournament a couple weeks ago. He's had a few weeks off to get his mind right. That's what he needs. Remember, Rory won the Open, Bridgestone, and the PGA Championship back-to-back-to-back last year. So you never know what this guy's going to give you. But Dustin Johnson, he's had a great year. He's missed 2 cuts this year. The first missed cut, he was actually at even par. The Honda Classic was rough for him. But every time he's made the cut, he finished in 4th, he finished in 2nd, he won a tournament, and he finished in 6th once. He didn't play for 6 months because of suspension. And he looked really, really good in his first tournament back. He had a nice eagle. I think he had a hole-in-one a couple weeks ago, actually. This guy's had a really good shot. And Dustin Johnson, he has a lot of potential. He has a hard drive. He's one of the best drivers on the tour. He just has to get his putting right. I don't know much about his iron game, but this guy's on the tour for a reason. This guy can do something special. Now, going back to Tiger Woods. I hope Tiger surprises me. Tiger Woods, you always give him the edge because of how competitive the guy is. But yesterday, I thought he would be more ready for the U.S. Open. But if you're a big Tiger fan, go follow on Twitter GC Tiger Tracker. GC for Golf Channel, GC Tiger Tracker. Whenever Tiger plays, this guy gives live tweets of his round. And I've been getting notifications like crazy. And these tweets look really good. Apparently he played pretty well in 9 holes today at Augusta. And he played a practice round on Tuesday last week. He must have felt okay because he committed to playing this week. Again, I hope he surprises me. But you know what? I got to give it to Jordan Spieth. Right now he's my favorite. And if it's not him, I'm going with Rory or Dustin Johnson. But all I know is that the Masters is going to be very, very, very fun to watch this week. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Ryan Morik Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, whatever. Happy opening day. Love this time of year. Yankees are 0-1. The Mets are 1-0. The Yankees might not be 500 this year. Think about that. We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not goodbye. It is see you later. Go watch the National Championship tonight. Keep watching some baseball. See you Thursday at 6 o'clock. Take care, everybody.
Looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Step up in this, just a swinging mic. Talking, walk if you're down with the set. Take up with some and take this from this jazz out of town. Put it down for the father of rap. And if you get cracked,